Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm going to show you how I made this. Well, actually a different version of this. I got this idea from Julie from Camelia Crafts, and this is in the boho theme, as you can see. A nice little bowl pin there. Beautiful lady there. This is using, let me just grab it, some boho collage strips. They are that size. I just shrunk them down because it's a mini project. And this is from Rachel Bella Crafts, and it's using one sheet. I used a book page, and in the folding it then creates 6 pockets. So this is all from book pages as well, and then pockets in the back there. So that's those 3, and then on this side we have these 3. So I used the strips to create these, and I used a bit of line dot arrow freebies as well, and some of my own sort of bit of stash. This wonderful apt bit of cloth, I was going to say ribbon, but it's not really. That was one of those rag rugs. I took it apart a couple of years ago when that was all the rage, and I got all the bits put together, all of it from different colours, in little Ziploc bags. And I thought there must be something that would go with this, and that's what I pulled out. So that's that. So you've got pocket here, pocket here, pocket here, so 3 on each side. So that is what I've made. The one with the dangle goes on that side so that the dangle can be seen when it's closed, which I liked that idea. They're all backed with avocado paper because I thought that was apt, and then these little accents are cut with avocado paper as well. I did ink initially in Tattered Rose, but I went over it with Vintage Photo because I didn't like it. If I'm honest, I didn't really like the look, so I could sneeze. So that was that, and then I just simply keep sneezing, pollen counts up, and I've taken some medication, so yeah, so much for that. So that's that version, and I am going to meet Rachel Bella from Rachel Bella Crafts, and we have to take a swap, and I thought this would be a nice cute swap. I might change my mind, because then I took that version and then I made a bigger version. I have got a massive atlas. So this is double sheet of the atlas tied with a bit of sari silk, which is caught under this front thing and around the spine. Put some lace on the spine, just decorated with all sorts of travel themed stuff. Open it up, and I glued the back pocket shut because I decided to make a little journal out of it, and I wanted it to be a little bit more robust, so I glued the front. So this has just got 2 pockets, and I've just put in things that were already in my stash, travel-ish orientated. So we've got a faux postcard there with travel theme on it, and you send postcards, don't you, when you're traveling. This was using Witchcraft to do collage strips. They're all cut out, it's not one strip. I made it up. It's got Paris written on it, and then I noticed, oh, that's a little bit boho-y, which gave me the idea of making the boho one. It's funny how we kind of inspire ourselves. And then in here we've got, this is Artimaze and French ephemera kit, which Air France So again, the travel theme, and this one, although it's quite botanical, it's got Paris in there, and you do see sort of bits of nature when you're on holiday, so put that in there. And here we've got, this has got 10 thin postcards there. This was from a book about postcards, and I just die cut it with a big ticket, and I reduced the size of the die cut, put it in there, and then I just shoved in a little faux vintage receipt thing there, because you spend money on holiday, don't you? And I just did a very small little journal in the middle. So this could be a travel journal. Put a little paper bag in there. Used one of Tracy Fox little paper slip things, and these are the ones that I decorated with stamps, and I added glossy accents to the stamps, and I reinforced the bag with a bit of the atlas paper, the bit I cut off, so that there's nothing in it at the moment. That's ready to be stuffed full of things that you collect on holiday. Did a little bit of stamping on it. We've got a French receipt there, and in the I think it's this atlas, no, a different atlas. It's got, this is, yeah, because it's half a page. This is, they've got these little maps, and I thought that fitted perfectly inside here. We've got handmade with love there. This may be my swap. I keep changing my mind about what I'm going to take for a swap. And again, done the same thing there. Reinforced this bag. Added this with a stamp on. And then in the back here, this is just a little tuck. I made this ages ago. Got a video on making this. I've got a video on making most of these things. Little check there. You need money when you're on holiday. In the back here, like with the front, that is a little boat trip, another faux postcard, and one of those strips. So I've got videos on making these things. I have a playlist that's called Junk Journal Tags and Embellishments. Little postcard there, and another one of those tags. So all of these were out of my pre-made ephemera little box. There we go. And then that, so it's made in exactly the same way as this one. It's just bigger, and I just added a little journal that I sewed in. So how do we make one? Well, I'm gonna show you. Okay, so I'm going to show you the folding twice, so I will prepare 2 of them. Now, you may remember this book I bought. I did a video on it. It's a modern book, and it was all about textiles. And I said this would make, I love, you know, these would make, well, there was even some vellum in it. Lots of these are vellum sheets. And they're just beautiful, bright colours. And I said they would make, you know, you can make tags and all sorts out of these. That would look lovely. Actually, that would make a nice tag. I'm going to move that to one side. So these are the things that I cut up to make the tags in the other one. That's really nice. That I could use. That's really nice. The colours on that are nice. Might use that. I also thought these blue ones would be nice as well, because all that writing more or less is going to be covered up, so that would make a nice blue one. So let's have a little look-see. Let's have a look-see at what we're doing. See, right, so with it, it's basically going to be folded in 4, and it's this section is what's going to be the front and the back cover. This is fairly non-directional. You're going to fold up on the inside. I would be folding up that way, I think. So then we can see this on the inside. I think that would work a treat. I do think that would work a treat. And then on this side, that is your front and your back cover. I'll do it that way, fold it up like so. Yeah, that would be nice. Probably cut that flower in half. So that's what we're getting. So first thing I want to do is trim these edges. If this book was glued in, so you're not going to be able to pull it out. You know, sometimes you can cut strings and pull them out, but this one you couldn't. Otherwise this would have been very nice if it could have been bigger, but it's not, so you can't. So that's the end of that. So do I want to keep those little strips? No, Jez, just chuck them. We've got plenty. So we are going to fold this up in half. You could have a bit of that exposed, but not gonna. Fold it in half up to the top, like so, and then we'll fold it in half this way so we know where the center point is. There we go. So if you were using a doubled, so if that was a book page, you wouldn't need to do this center one because it would already be folded. So you would just do this foldy up bit here, and then we're going to decide which you want as the cover. So that's going to be folded in half. That's a nice cover actually. That's a nice back. And then you've still got these. That would be what you see. Yeah, I think that works, because that's a better, yeah, so we're doing it that way. So we can fold this in, but not right to the center. Leave a little, just a little gap there at the center, because you still want it to fold. The one that's got a signature in, I did leave a slightly bigger gap, but that one, it's very difficult to see. That's the center, and that's where I've put it to. So 1/8 of an inch maybe, and then we do this one to about the same distance. Like so, and then we fold this down to the corner. I'm not going to see this, it gets folded on the inside. Fold this side down. You want them to match, so I want it to fold a little tad more. Keep it straight. There we go. And then we fold this one down, not quite so far, and that is your other pocket. And that's what you're going to see there. Folding that down, trying to get it so it matches, eyeballing it. There we go, and then we'll just fold them the other way. So you can see a little bit of those purple flowers that were on the edge, but you don't see any of that writing. So that's our achoo, 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 achoo. So that's our cover. That's our back. Really like the look of that. Then opening it up. That is on the inside, and we're going to cut some thumb notches there. So I'm going to open it right out and put those two together so that I can get the thumb notches even. I'm going to take 1.5 inches. No, it's 1.25. Actually, eyeballing it for the centre and just do my little notches so that we've got our little notches there, and it shows the blue in the background. And that is the basic construction of it. And you can ink around it. There's a bit of me that's thinking I won't ink this one because it's quite nice the way it is. I mean, you've got this, you are seeing that bit, so it is, if that bothers you, you can always fold that one that way, but you've still got little bits top and bottom, or you can cover it if you don't like it. I don't mind it. It is junk journal after all, or junk journal ephemera, make nice happy mail, or in this case a swap. So that's that. So shall we do it one more time? So they're all inked, and I did ink this one in the end. It would have annoyed me, so it had to be done. So now we're just going to do a bit of gluing. Now this middle section doesn't actually need to be glued, but I like to just to make sure. So we've got a little crease line there. We can go up it. I'm using art glitter for this bit. No rhyme nor reason. I've got it. This is quite thick paper. I don't like art glitter glue on thinner paper because I think you can see the glue lines. So I tend to avoid it in that respect. But it's a nice strong glue, and for doing these pockets, I thought I'll use it. And I've got a whopping great big pot of it, so you know, it does need to be used. Right, I'm just going to go up a smaller one and then up the bigger one, and then along this section here. Glue that in place. Hold it down for a bit. I don't find it instant, but I do find it okay. Or have I not done that one? I hope I did on that side. Maybe I didn't. It'll be held in. It's not a drama. We leave the drama to 4. There we go. There we go. Just quoting an advert there. So do the small side, not the long side, because if you do the long side you'll have glue there and you don't want glue there. There we go, bit glue there, bit glue along there. And that is that's your gluing. That's your gluing done. And then we do exactly the same on this one. So I'll get that one glued. So they're all done now, ready to be decorated. So I just thought I'd show you it on a larger scale. So this is the atlas page I used to make this one. So whatever you start off with, it's going to be 1/8 of the size that you've got. So that is like 1/8 of the size of the sheet we started with. So you can fit that in there 8 times. So this is massive, but it doesn't produce something massively massive. And the sheets that I used on the inside are half a sheet, a standard sheet, sort of folded in half. So like a C6 card. So that was a good size, I felt. So this has already got its middle fold. So you can look at it. What I decided to do was to take these strips off the top and the bottom and the sides, because I thought they wouldn't look that pretty. So that is the first thing that I did. And then I used some of these strips to decorate things on the inside. So it's too big that side, so fold it up first. Those strips I kept because you do. And so what you're going to be mindful of now is, so that's going to get folded in, and that top half, that's the front cover. Okay, that's the bit on the inside. It's going to get folded back that way, so you're going to see that bit. Okay, obviously this bit's going to get folded up. That's going to be on the inside. And that's your back cover, which is quite cool. Or you could choose to do it this way round. That would be your front cover there. That would be your back cover. It's upside down. So for me, I'd have an issue with that. Well, it's not upside down, it's sideways, isn't it? And then on the inside, you'd have that folded over, so you'd see that. So I think, all in all, I want it this way. That to be the outside cover. So we're going to fold this up to the top. Like so, and now I can chop those ends off, and that's what I'm doing now. And then hopefully that'll still be the same size. It's not quite, so I'm going to put this in the trimmer. Make sure those sides are the same. There we go. That's us sorted. Sorted, sorted, sorted. Keep those, get rid. So we have folded up. Now I'm going to put, so as we fold in, I'm going to put a signature in. So I'm leaving, what's that, about 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8. Okay, so not 1/4, not 1/2. If you're a centimetre person, it's about 1 centimetre. Okay, that is what we're doing. Because I wanted some room there for, got a bit of a line there to go to. That works well. So then that closes up. Yeah, they've met nicely, like so. Front cover, back cover, beautiful back cover. I love that. And then we'll do our folding back. So fold this one back, so exactly the same way, but just so you can see, you could use some of your books. Maybe you've got massive books like me, to make these out of. Julie even had like a landscape shaped one, so a book ended up that way, which ended up being a favourite one. But it was cool. It was cool. So do that. Readjust, not quite straight. It's hard sometimes when you've got such a pattern to sort of know when it's straight. There we go. And then we just turn them under. Oh, we've got that lovely colour of the sea showing through there. Love it. And on this side, we've got more land. And that's going to get folded that way. And that is the cover of the one that's got the journal in it. And I did score some extra lines in it so it had room to grow, so we can do that. I'll get my big one out. I'm just trying to look around where my small score is, but I can't find it. Can't find it at all. So I'm going to put that fold line there down the 6 inch. I've got a line drawn so I can see it, and then I'm going to go 1/4 inch each side, which is why I had that space there. So this could be done. Just to give a little bit of a fold there for when you add things to the journal. I didn't put any pockets or anything in the journal pages, but they could be added if you wanted to. And so now you've got a little bit of a spine, that's the word, going on there for doing that. Okay, and to give it a little bit more strength, I glued the cover so that it was yeah, stronger. So I use collal glue because that gives, it's like you're adding extra GSM. Oh, there's the rain. We've been threatened thunderstorms and they haven't come, and here comes the rain. And you know it's coming, you know when you can feel it in the air. It's been so close and so warm. So I hope we're going to be all right for our little walk later. I hope I am a fair weather walker, although I do go out every day, so sometimes you just have to. So there we are, plenty of glue there. I say this adds like GSM to it, adds a bit of strength. Just get rid of yesterday's glue off this. Glue and matte medium on there just peels off because it's silicone and nothing sticks. There we go. God knows where that went. Oh, so let's spread it a bit, and then you get less oozing if you spread it out this way. And we'll just glue these down because that will be easier at this stage if that's glued down. Not being too particular about these because they're not going to come up. Once it's all together, they're well and truly stuck. There we go. And give that a good press. You might decide if you're going to do this and turn it into a journal that you still want those little pockets. You do you. I just wanted my pockets to be glued. Well, I wanted my cover bit to be more secure. So that's why I did that way. Glue these in. And then I'm going to ink the edges before I go any further because it will be really difficult to ink these edges once the sides are glued down. So I ain't making that mistake, which was very nearly in danger of happening. So we will get them all inked up whilst we still can. I mean, it's not as easy as it would have been, but it's not as difficult as it would have been if I'd glued these sides down. Looks okay. Yes, almost a disaster, darling, but managed to avert. By remembering at the very end. There we go. Cool. So we don't need to do the notches for pockets because there are no pockets. And if there are no pockets, we do not need any notches. Now I did go along this fold line as well, just cause that's it. No more explanation other than just cause. It's a crease, it's there, it's getting inked. There we go. So we just need to do these bits. Might need a bit more ink now, Jez. You've done really well on that one dip. Yeah. And then all the way around the outside. Around the outside, around the outside. That was from Buffalo Girls, if you didn't recognise what I was doing there. I am always finding song lyrics and what people say. Always. Dasher Dave does that. Love watching Dasher Dave because that's me. Totally me. And I probably a similar age, so I get all his cultural references. We obviously watch the same programs and listen to the same music. Growing up. There we go. That is that bit done, ready. There we go, for the gluing. So bit of art glitter again. So there was me telling you, do the shorter edge, not the long edge. And on the one I did off camera, did the long edge, didn't I? Of course you did, Jess. Yeah. So I think this would be a nice little neat travel journal. I think sometimes when I make a travel journal, I make it too big. Then it's impossible to fill. And I had a decision, because I'm going on holiday soon. Yeah, I know, another one. Family holiday this time. First time away with my son for years. Years and years and years. So that'd be nice. And yeah, I thought I like to take crafting on holiday. And so I thought I might print out photos from Turks and Caicos and actually fill my Turks and Caicos album whilst on holiday in France. So there we have it. So that is the basis of that one. So I'm just going to show you how I did the signatures in it. So the middle signature are these little maps here. So this was in this atlas that I got in a charity shop, and there were street plans right in the beginning, all UK places. Thought that was quite cool, so that is what I went for the middle signature there. Quite cool. I've got a bit of, so that was the other half of what's in the other one. It's ripped a bit, not so bothered. I've got some tea-stained paper, some avocado stained paper. So that is 4 sheets. So I think I did 6 sheets altogether, one of them being a bag. So I'm just going to gather the bag and the other sheet. So it's 8 pages. I don't know where I got 6 from. Decided in the end that that is going to bother me. So I've just pulled another signature out of my encyclopedia. So that's them. So let's get these. So that's I'm gonna sneeze. That's because that book's really dusty. So let's cut this in half. So I used, this is cabbage dyed. It's a little bit blue, so I had one of these in it twice. There we go. Cut this in half. That's not quite half, Jez, is it? I'm going to do it half because I like having different sized pages. I can't see where that crease is. I'll have to have it down here, Jez. Your eyesight's not very good. You know that. There we go. I might keep the rough edge. Yeah. Use that for someone else. Paper bags, just need to slip the end off, slip the end off our paper bag. There we go. I like to fold that back so that the end's a bit more reinforced because they're only thin, and if I'm going to put a paper clip on it, I like it to be reinforced. There we go. That's that. Got a little bit of faux receipt there. Can't remember where this is from. Could be the old design shop, could be Artie Mae's. Not 100% certain where it came, but I print them. So this is just printed on copy of paper, and then I tea dye the back, and the print from that side comes through because I've got an inkjet printer. I haven't got a laser printer, but I really love the way it does that. I think it makes it look old and authentic. So that is my pages. So I started with one of these. I don't have to do it identical, but it saves me thinking, and that's all good. So then we'll have our thingy page, and we have, this is cream paper that I tea dyed, so it gives you a different effect. Then we'll have paper bag, then we'll have the avocado, then we've got the document, and then a bit more cabbage, and then that. So that is my little, so I've used 8 sheets, so 8, 8, 66, that's 32. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, that's the centre, 16, 16 is 32. 32 sheets going in there. Nice little journal. Okay, so let me just show you how I did a bit of stamping on it, but let's show you how I reinforced that. I'm staggering that so I remember where it came in. So that bit's already pretty reinforced. Well, it will be when it's stuck down like. So stick this down. So got a bit of reinforcement on that side. You've got it on this side as well because that's already doubled over there because of the nature of the bag. So then we just need to do strip down either side. So this is where I used a chew, the offcuts from the bag. That's cool. Not the bag, the map. We'll have that one. We'll have that one. Yeah, liking them. That's why they were saved. So let me just get my wee ruler, and we'll have height there. Nice. Go down to the bottom. We'll have that there. That was slightly out of camera, I do apologise. And this time I'm actually doing it whilst looking at it. On the other one of these is upside down because I didn't look properly. But hey ho. Hey ho, merry ho, who cares? Right, now I can, and I will, give these a bit of a them, bit of a that. I'm sniffing now because that old encyclopedia, because I just ripped the whole thing out, so really could do with blowing my nose. I can't see a tissue. Oh, there's one. I was using paper napkin. So I always save those, and they work really well as a much needed tissue when the need occurs, because I've got a terrible dust allergy. So junk journaling sometimes affects my health. But hey ho. Not often. I'm usually pretty good. I can usually tell when I go into charity shops. During COVID, when we had to wear masks, I couldn't tell because I had a mask on. So I couldn't tell how dusty the things were that I was buying until I got home. But I can smell dust. It straight away, it's like, oh, it's really dusty. So I kind of know straight away that it might be problematic. I usually leave them out in the sunshine for a bit. But I know the first one I made, I had to do loads of editing because I was just sniffing all the way through it back in 2020. And so I had to go through and edit all the sniffs out because nobody wants to hear that, do they? When I was at university, and I used to study in the library a lot, and there used to be a lad there, and I think he must have had allergies, and he just sniffed the whole time, and he would sniff up the snot, and it would be like, oh, you know, really like a long sniff, and it'd be like, oh, please. It used to turn my stomach. So that's how I reinforce that. So that means that if you're going to put a little clip on it, it's going to hold it better, and it gives it a little bit of decoration as well. So if this was a plain bag, that would be quite nice to have a little bit of decoration on it. So there we have it. I'm then going to do, I did a bit of stamping on the other pages. Let's bring them all together. So it's got a map theme, so I thought we'd go for a bit of a travel theme with it. So I have a world map stamp set, and I have a stamp set with little globes, and yeah, things like, I don't want to do exactly the same as I did in the other one. What did I start that one with? Life's a Beautiful Journey. I'm going to put Adventure Awaits then on this one, because, you know, you want it to be different, don't you? So, well, I want it to be different. So, I'm going to use Pebble Path. I love this colour. I say it every time I use it. It's a bit like, I think it's like a vintage black. So I've got Adventure Awaits. Perfect. And then I've got put a few of these globes around. And the little compass. Oh, I could put a little feather as if we're writing. Oh, I might do that one. Oh, and I've got the ink. Oh, yeah, the ink quill. That's quite cool. So let's do that in the corner. that will do. So let me just tidy all this away. So they're all done. So now I'm going to sew my signature in. I haven't trimmed it at all. If you're fussy about that, then trim it by all means. But I didn't bother. This is a rough and ready little journal. So that is what I want. Got that out and I didn't get out any clips. So making sure I'm going for the middle score line there, not one of the other two. Down the tad. I'm struggling to push that. There we go. Hold that in place there. There we go. That do me. Right, so then I'm just going to close it slightly. Eyeball in. That's about the middle. Poke it out. Comes right where I want it. Go through there. Same thing. Comes out right where I want it. And then we'll go about there. Absolutely right where I want it. And then bit of wax thread here. Look at the state of my, that was from cleaning my stamps. I've got a little chamois and it needs to go in the wash. It's going in the wash today because I'm going on a craft retreat and I'd rather my chamois was a bit cleaner. I mean, it'd still be black, but it's about it sort of smelling nice and not giving me dirty hands when I use it. So, oh, I've got two out. I don't want two, I just want one. Thank you. And then adjust. So if you've seen sewing in signatures, fast forward through this bit. I might do the decorating in a separate video because I got a feeling that this is going to be a very long video. There we go. So take your glasses off now, Jess. Going in through the middle, back through the top hole, not to get confused by the holes that are in that from the signature in the book it came from. You know, I'm leaving that in just to hold it in place. Back out through there, going through the hole, not splitting the thread. There we go. Give it a pull so it's nice and tight. Now we'll take that out because I want to go in that hole. In that hole. Come straight through. Perfect. And now I'm going under that thread there. And then I want to poke this one underneath so that they're both on the different size, because at the moment they're on the same side. There we go. So they're coming at different sides. Take that out now. Give it a good, see, that's quite loose. Look at that. That's about as loose as a very loose thing. So we need to pull our strings a bit still quite loose. So pull that one. And then pull that one. Pull that one. Pull that one. Just rubbish, Jez. Today, when it comes to pulling these strings, being rubbish. Good enough there. Good enough. So we go left over right, not, right over left, not. There we go. Could add a dangle. I did add a dangle actually. I got a dangle that says made with love. Do you know what I haven't checked? As if it's up the right way. Oh, it is. Oh, you were holding it upside down. Oh, phew. I was nearly going to be upset then, because I thought I'd put this in upside down, but I haven't. So there we go. Nice little journal there. Could add pockets to this if you wanted to. I probably won't. I probably travel journal. I might just leave it as it is, stick things in as and when, because I've got these pockets, and I've got pockets here, so the ephemera is going to go in those bits. There we go. So that is how I did that. Now I'm just going to check how long I've been to see if I can decorate. Right, so we're going to call that end of part one. Gonna have to be part two, so I've been about an hour putting these together. So shoot, don't know, I'm just sneezing. So I'm gonna decorate these in part two, and I'll probably have it going out straight away so that you can see the whole thing. But rather than have a 2-hour video, I thought I'd put it out in 2 parts. Okay, so see you in a moment in part two.